When you talk about the speed athlete, the speed skill, what are keys to developing that kind of skill?
Select your parents, number one.
Okay.
Now, even though you've selected your parents and they've bestowed upon you special genes, it doesn't mean your brothers and sisters get it. I've worked with two top medalist Olympic sprinters, and one of them had, I think it was 6 siblings. None of them were athletes. And yet this one is basically the fastest or the second fastest person in the world. It's amazing. So somehow that came together. But the next thing, yes, well, if you don't have this, you won't be a world-class sprinter. And that's the ability to contract muscle quickly, but more importantly, to relax as quickly. So I think you might have been around when we were doing the muscle relaxation experiments, or was that before your time?
Would that be like when, like just with like GSP, for instance, and you do?
Yeah, some of the MMA athletes. I think that was during your tenure with us. Yeah. So when you take, so UFC combat athletes, so obviously they're all fabulous. If you're in that league, you're pretty special. So to just think of a strike. Is this a video as well, by the way?
Yep, it is. We can see you. We're good.
But the playback could be audio or video. So if I show you something, So to use strength to create a strike, boom, you need a pulse. But muscles create force and stiffness, and so if you don't let the pulse go quickly, you're so strong that you can't move. So you've got to boom. And then again, when the projectile, your fist or your foot or whatever it happens to be, hits the target, you must pulse again to go through it. So boom, boom. You have to pulse, relax, pulse, relax. Think of coming out of the starting blocks. You prime a little bit of pre-stiffness in the core because that acts like a stone. But then when the hips fire, they act like a hammer. So they fire and propel a stone. If your spine was soft, they propel a rope, and you can't push rope. But very few people have the ability to strategically organize stiffness in one spot and a hammer pulse in the other, and then turn it off very quickly. So, and the original experiments were done by Leonid Matveyev, one of the great Russian scientists at the Moscow Institute, and he was measuring Olympic lifters. And the Olympic lifters, if they're going to rip a bar into a snatch, snap underneath it. Well, at that point, you have to totally relax your body. Well, what a crazy thing. Who in their right mind is going to relax when they have 100 kilo over their head? You know, it's such a mind bender. But that's one of the gifts, by the way, of training Olympic style. It's to keep honing in on the speed of the concentric rip and then go into the relaxed eccentric and snap underneath it. But it's the same with sprints. Those who can pulse and then relax the leg so they get a faster recovery of the leg through, and then another pulse. You know, you see how much effort Olympic sprinters put into relaxing, relax. You know, you were talking about the Eastern Europeans and the Russians and whatnot. Some of the best conversations I've had with Jamaican sprint coaches, man, they know this stuff. They're so good at it, and they train it. And, you know, I've done some consulting there. My role was to create a better, stiffer core, and they create better hammers. And that's how you produce speed, which I think is your question. So
what would you see from
the great ones, just to finish that off from a quantitative point of view, they can relax muscle 6 times faster than you grad students and me.